All right, it looks like we're recording now. So for the folks here, thank you for registering for us. We're going to talk about getting your local business on Google Search and Maps today. We appreciate all you guys joining us, and I hope that this is a little bit meaningful for you. I'm pretty sure everyone that's registered for this is probably already a client with the Small Business Development Center. You probably have a counselor that you work with. Maybe it, maybe Charles here in the Florence office. But I know we did have some folks registered around the state as well. So we appreciate you joining us for this. I hope you all pretty familiar and just a quick overview, really a reminder from the South Carolina Small Business Development Center on what we do. Our mission is to advance South Carolina's economic development by helping you, entrepreneurs, grow successful businesses. Pretty simple and straightforward. Our vision is to be recognized as the gateway and proven provider of small business assistance driving entrepreneurship, growth, and success. And most importantly, and you'll find this with everyone, top to bottom, with the Small Business Development Center, are our values of integrity, commitment, very important, confidentiality, professionalism, and accountability. Three of the things that we spend majority of our time doing are our consultations, which you all know are confidential, one-on-one, and are at no charge. Education, which what we're doing today is we have series of training sessions on different topics. This one just happened to be on marketing. And we have a plethora, I guess, of resources available to you. An abundance of them are available on our website. If you just go there and start clicking through, you'll find lots of things of value. This is where you would register for a training session and things like that. But as you work with your counselors, you'll find that they have access to certain resources that aren't available publicly that help us learn a little bit about your business, your industry in particular. And we use all of those tools to help us and help you with your business. So without further ado, let's start talking about Google. We'll talk about Google first, I suppose, in the purpose of Google. You all know, without a doubt, that Google is by far the largest search engine. There are literally billions of searches daily. If you look at all of Google, it's certainly weekly in the United States. Even in small markets, tens of thousands, in some cases hundreds of thousands, maybe in the case of in just here in the PD region, Florence, weekly. And it's not only people that might be searching, specifically typing in your business, in which case they would like to find your Google profile so that they can either link to your website or simply click the button and call you. But the majority of searches are organic. In other words, they're searching for a product or service. Google's job is to provide them with a relevant result. Okay, that's how Google became the largest search engine. So Google's job is to provide that relevant result. It's your job to have your Google business profile become relevant. We want the Google algorithm, the computer program, to present your business to the person that's searching for the product or service that you offer. So with all of that, I'm sure if there was a show of hands here, I know we would all raise our hands. You've gotten that call, right? Hey, your Google business profile's out of date, let us help you, and all that kind of good stuff. I assure you that is not Google calling you. That is a third-party person, and their objective is to separate you from your money. Okay. So having a Google business profile is something that you as the business owner should do, and you should be the owner of that. It's not difficult. You do want to keep it up to date. So really, when they say your Google business is not up to date, they're not necessarily lying to you. and it's valuable information that they're sharing, because you do want to keep your Google business profile up to date and managed to become that relevant result when someone is looking for your product or service. One thing I forgot to do as we entered into this thing is at the end of this session, you'll get an email from us, a survey. If you wouldn't mind completing that after this session is over, we would appreciate that. That helps us provide better training sessions, improve our training sessions and things like that. So if I could lean on you for that, I'd appreciate it. Okay. So how do we do this? Some of you probably already have a Google business profile. Some of you may know it as Google My Business. Sarah and I were talking earlier, they seem to change the name of this thing every couple of years, but they steadily make improvements on this and make improvements and changes to the algorithm. So it's something that you want to stay on top of. What we're going to go through today is a brief. I'll try to make this brief. What is a Google business profile? How to create your business profile, and most importantly here is how to manage that business information in your business profile and keep it up to date. We'll finish with some resources that you probably already know are available from Google to help you learn more about your Google business profile and small business. So they offer a lot of resources. Okay. Also, if you have a question, if you wouldn't mind typing it in the chat. As we get toward the end of this thing, hopefully we'll have a few minutes to maybe go back and kind of look at a couple of these things and maybe answer some of your questions. I see one in there right now. I haven't looked into Google at all. I know what the price is, and also if I can link this to my Jobber app. I'm not sure what the Jobber app is, William. Might have to address that a little bit more closely to clarify that. But to answer your first question, the good thing about your Google business profile and all of the activity that you can do in there, short of paying for Google ads, is it's all free. And I would encourage all business owners who qualify to have a Google business profile for that. And it's going to do nothing but help your business. And because it is free, when I say it's free, it requires time. So I guess that's the expense, right? Because you do not just want to set it and forget it. You want to manage this profile, keep it up to date, specifically because that Google algorithm crawls and it looks for changes and things like that. We'll get in a little bit more about that when we get into the manage your business info. Okay. So what is a Google business profile? I guess what I'd like to say here is it's kind of your virtual storefront. So it's important to kind of have, and you want it to look professional. Obviously, you want your context to be proper grammar, proper spelling, and a professional look, just like if you're a retail business or something like that, how you would keep your storefront. So I would envision it that way as a business owner. Okay. And what does it look like? Probably all of you have searched for a product or service other than what you do in your business, right? And this is what you find. And if you were to Google, in this case, Village Tailor Cleaners, it would take you there. Obviously, you see the name of the business. I'll get my arrow run around up here a little bit. Photos is something very important. You can also add videos up to 30 seconds. Okay, photos up to 5 megabytes. The quick links thing here is very important. You would want to include your phone number. We'll talk about how that goes in. Obviously, your address, where you are, if there's a physical location. But these quick links, people can call you directly by clicking on this on their mobile device. They can click on that and boom, it's going to call you, right? They can get directions to your shop if they're looking to come there. All these quick links are just part of today's world, which is why it's important to have this thing. Your location, your hours, your phone number, the general business information is what's going to immediately pop up and be available to that consumer. That's the relevant result that searcher was looking for. Okay. Now we'll deep dive into this, and there's a lot more information that will come part of this. Some important statistics here, and these are valid. Why is having a Google profile important? Well, there you go. 2.7 times, 270%, okay, more likely to be considered reputable. Google does a great job of providing relevant results, okay? That's how they make their living. So as a searcher, when you are searching and these results come up, they consider them reputable. It's just simply that. And if the higher your ranking gets, okay, which is what we'll talk about in managing, the quicker they can find you, the better that will be. But if they just find your Google profile and see that it is up to date, it is considered a relevant result and reputable. Okay. In addition, getting on Google Maps, which will fall in logically as you build your profile, they're 70% more likely to attract visitors to your location and 50% more likely to lead to a purchase. And this is validated data. So it is important to have a Google business profile and keep it up to date. Okay. Your Google business profile is optimized across devices. It will show up properly on desktops, laptops, tablets, and it is mobile optimized as well. So that is done automatically. There's nothing you have to do to make that happen. As we build this, it does it. So how do you get started? This is an address, and you'll probably, if I have to, I'll just email you the slide deck or some kind of flyer after this with this information on there. But you would want to go to google.com/business. Okay. Now you'll need a Google account. Almost everybody already has one, either personally or for their business. If you don't have one, you'll just be able to set one up right there. It's a pretty simple process. So actually getting a business profile is really not that difficult at all. Sometimes your business will already be there, and you can just claim it. In most cases, if you haven't done anything, it probably won't. But in some cases it is, and you can just simply claim it, okay? Just by typing that in. Okay, so how do you create it once you've got in there? And I'll kind of go through this quicker because it is pretty self-explanatory as you go through this. Again, google.com/business. Okay. At that point, you may already be signed in if you're using Chrome or something like that to your Google account. If not, there's a sign-in button right there. If you don't have a Google account, you can, when you click the sign-in here, you don't have a Google account, you register for it. Remember that particular account, because that account is the account that you will use to manage this profile. Okay. Also, I'm going to interject this here, and I'll probably repeat this a little bit later. You create this account. If you have a third-party supplier, such as an agency or something like that that's managing the social media accounts, make sure that they use your Google account to register this. You can set that third party up if they're managing this for you and keeping it up to date for you by adding them as a user. You want it under your Google account because that cannot be deleted. So if you particularly fire that third party agency, they can't take your business profile down. So make sure you use your Google account to create your business profile. Okay. Again, once you get into that, you can start typing your name. If that business is already there, it will show up in that drop-down box with your address. Make sure that is in fact your business. And that's where you would claim the business if it already existed. In most cases, it will not if you haven't already built a Google business profile. Most of you may already have a Google business profile, just interested in how to improve it. We'll be getting to that soon. Okay. So if it's not there, you'll just click add your business to Google, and away we go. You'll begin to go through a series of setup questions here, which is kind of the basics of your business. You're going to be adding a lot of details once we get the account set up. So make sure you spell your business as you would like it to be seen. Okay, make sure it's spelled correctly. You will select a category. These are the overall categories at this point in time. Once we get into this, we'll be able to add up to 9 services, which we'll want to do. Let's kind of drill down a little bit into this. So if you don't see the exact category that fits what you see as your overall business, you'll find one close by just simply typing those things in. So choose the one that's close. In this case, this is a cobbler, right? Shoe repair shop, right? And then click next. And when you get to the services, that's where we'll start adding in more specific things about the nature of your business that you'll want to promote. Okay. Now, this is pretty important here. Do you have a location that customers visit? If you're a retail shop and customers come to you, the answer is yes. Okay. And that doesn't mean that you have to have a retail location to build a business profile, right? If say you're a arborist, you're a tree service, you cut trees and residential yards or something like that, tree needs to be taken out or whatever the case may be. So you wouldn't want to click no here, perhaps, because no one really comes to your shop to ask you to come out. They call you, say, hey, can you come take a look at this tree and give me a quote, right? So you would click no there. We're still going to add an address to this. We'll discuss that later. But if you have a physical location, obviously the answer is yes. If you go out to customers in a service area, you'll click no. You just won't show up on as a dot of where you are on the Google Maps and things like that. Okay. And we can ask questions about that later if you have any on that. This slide says if yes, enter the address. You want to enter your address here anyway. If you click no before, that address will not be showing up and things like that. But you want to hit the address here because Google has to send you a verification, quote, unquote, postcard to be able to validate you as the owner of the business. So we'll go ahead and put that address in here. It's not going to show up if you selected no before, but do put your address here. Okay. This is where you'll be adding your service areas. And as you click next, as you go through these slides, it's just going to guide you right through this area. Okay. If you select a service area, don't be crazy broad. In other words, don't say, hey, I service the entire Southeast. Here, don't know that any small businesses that are on this call will be servicing that area. But Google may pull back on you a little bit if you set your service area too broad. Again, they're trying to provide some relevant results for those areas. Okay. If you have multiple locations, you'll just be setting up multiple locations with different service areas. And again, as we manage the accounts, you'll have the ability to do that. So there you go. You'll enter your business contact info, include phone number. You've got a website, you definitely want to put that in there. So it's pretty straightforward as you go away to do this. Once you build this, and you can continue to build this, but it's going to reach this point, they need to verify you as the business owner. And in all likelihood, they're going to send you a postcard by mail. And let's see if I can move this chat box out the way here. So to the address that you just typed in, it generally takes 5 days. A word of caution, it says postcard, but it's not really a postcard. It's going to look like you get those like a W-2 or whatever in the mail with the little perforated sides that you tear off and top that you tear off. That's what it's going to look like because your verification number is going to be on the inside. Don't confuse it as junk mail because everybody gets a lot of junk mail nowadays, and a lot of it looks like that. Okay, so be on the lookout for something. It will say from Google, so just be on the lookout for it and don't toss it into trash. Once you get that, you'll go back to google.com/business and manage your account that you created here. It'll ask you to verify it, and you'll put those numbers in. Okay. In some cases, they go ahead and verify accounts. So you say, hey, this thing's not asking for my verification. They probably have just went ahead and verified you. Some of that stuff happens behind the scenes at Google. Okay. So once you get to this point, it said, hey, we're mailing you your postcard. You'll be able to validate that, but you can continue to build your site, and you might as well do it while you're here and while you're waiting on that card. So when you go live, it'll be up to date. Okay. So as you get in here, this is where you'll add your services. I'm going to minimize that. And you can add up to 9. So once you get in here, there'll be a kind of a drop-down box where you can start, this was the cobbler, right? The guy that does shoe services. So he's clicking on adhesive repair, heel repair, sole repair, stitching repair, stretching. Add the relevant ones up to 9. And if there's 9 relevant ones, add them, all of them. We want to do that because the algorithm is going to start identifying these services now and put those with your business. As a, for instance, this arborist that we talked about, the guy that does tree services, maybe he does stump grinding. He's working on a tree. You would want to add stump grinding here, right? Because somebody might just be looking for stump grinding, not to have a tree removed. And that's a service that you can provide. And we want the Google algorithm to know that you are a valid and valid result for that search, a reliable result for that search. So you definitely want to add additional services here. Again, just don't build the profile. We want to complete all aspects of building this behind it, and then we want to manage it. There we go. Again, as you click next through this, it's just going to guide you through this, right? You definitely want to add your business hours. Okay, if you're open 24/7, just put open. Don't leave everything closed, right? we want to show them that we are open at certain times. Put your standard business hours in here. If you're a retail shop, you may have some specialty hours like holiday hours, or for instance, if you're a restaurant, you might have a happy hour. As we get into managing your account, we'll be able to add those specific nuances a little bit later. But put your standard business hours in here, okay? Messaging, you can use, this is not necessarily a social media account, but it kind of falls in that realm of marketing, if you will, of having people try to find you. So messaging, you can add messaging, and people can message you, which will maybe come to your text phone or show up on your laptop, whatever the case may be. If you choose to accept messages, be prepared to answer quickly and be very prompt on that. We don't want to leave people, how today's world is. Everybody wants everything now, right? That's why they Google things. We want to answer right away if we can, in very short order. People don't like to wait on things. So if you choose to add messaging, just be prepared to be able to respond to those messages when they do come through, okay? If you choose not to accept messages, they're liable to call you, whatever the case may be. Here's an important part of building your profile. Write a business description. Do not forget this. We want to provide a business description written in such a way that the Google algorithm picks this up as relevant results. So we have to craft this and write this in a way that has, well, the word is keywords. Those are words that people search when they're looking for your business or service. A lot of ways to find those important keywords. If you're an arborist, we do tree trimming, stump grinding, we want to put those same thing, anything that someone might type into Google for a search, or talk on their cellular phone and say, hey, Alexa, find a arborist near me. We want to, or stump grinding near me. We want to be that relevant result when they say that. So how do you find those keywords? Look at your competitors, look at competitors in other markets. that have a good business profile, see how they have written theirs. Just do a little research into that, and then maybe ask some of your customers what they would type if they were searching for your business or service. It may not be what, because you're in the business, you're so close to it, you may think it's logically this, but as a consumer, they may think something different, and type that in there. But write this paragraph, you got 750 characters, to be keyword rich, in such a fashion that the algorithm is going to read this description and affiliate that with the search. Okay. Photos. Today's world is visual. There is absolutely no reason in the world not to put photos in here. It actually improves responses from consumers when they're doing searches if you do have photos. So add photos of your business. Take a good high quality photo, make it a good representation of your virtual storefront. As we get into the management of this, we'll want to continually add photos, change photos, and things like that to address the algorithm again. Okay. Again, I think it's up to 5 megabytes per photo, JPEG, or I can't remember the other format off the top of my head. But a common format, videos up to 100 megabytes, 30 seconds long. Okay. Can be added to your Google business profile. Oh, here's Google wanting to advertise, right? Advertising can be effective on Google, and you would, if you want to advertise on Google, you would manage that right through your Google business profile, and it's pretty easy to do anytime you want to do it. Those ads start moving up towards the top, but as anyone that's done SEO and that kind of stuff will tell you, a lot of people skip over that because they're really looking for that relevant result that Google has provided, not the ad. But they can be effective. It's kind of a different topic if you want to get into advertising. It's not very expensive, so it might be something that you want to test and see what kind of response you get from it. But that's where you would manage it. Okay. So, okay, so we'll go back in. We've kind of built this, the outside shell of this thing, and we're waiting on our results. We get our postcard, we go in there, we enter our verification code, then we're in business. And that's not going to mean you're going to immediately show up on Google search results and be the top result. It's going to take a little time to do that. The algorithm has got to come around and find you a couple of times. Our goal, your goal here, is to have this updated Google business profile that is managed. Okay. In other words, we're going to come back and make edits and changes and updates and things like that to the profile. And we want to get, jot this down, 6 reviews, 5-star reviews, right? We want our customers or people who know about our business to come in there and not just give us a 5-star review, but they need to write something. Say, hey, the arborist was great. John's arborist was great. They did exactly, they showed up on time. They left the place cleaner than when they showed up. We recommend them to anybody. That's the kind of stuff we want to see here, right? But we want to get up to 6. Once we get past 5, getting up to 6, the algorithm really starts to pick that up and move you into the more relevant result search. So that's something that we want to take part of. And there's a way that you can ask customers, and we'll show that in just a minute, for a review on your Google. Okay. All right, now we're getting into management. We're up, we're on site, it's live. How do we keep this thing up to date? How do we improve ourselves with the Google algorithm so we'll keep moving up into their relevant results? Very easy. Once you're logged in, again, you're using your Google account that you set up, right? And you simply Google your name, your business name as you put in there. In this case, Vincent Village Cobbler. And as long as you're logged in, and that's the account that you set up the business profile in, you'll be able to manage it directly from there. It's just that simple. You don't have to log into any kind of special place or anything like that. It'll be right there. You want to manage your account, right? And there's 3 buttons here. We want to remember these. We'll kind of go through those: edit profile, promote, and customers. Okay. Once you're into this, click on all of these and just familiarize yourself with them. It's pretty intuitive once you get this thing up. Okay. So under edit profile, first part of that thing. Now we can go back in here and change and update our business information, update our hours. We'll kind of go through that in just a second, but that's where we might put in something like, hey, our happy hour is 5 to 7, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Products, services, photos, all of the things that we've already done here, we can now begin to update, change, edit, add, and we want to do this periodically, even if it's just simple changes, so that the algorithm, next time it comes around your site, right, it's going to say, hey, they are active. They're making changes. This result, these guys will look to be more professional than some of our other Google business profiles for this search. So it will begin to view you as more relevant, which is what we're trying to get after here, right? It's going to pick up that additional review. By the way, on reviews, don't go out and have everybody you know drop it in a review all at one time, and it's all of a sudden 20 reviews in one day. Space those out a little bit. We don't want to throw up a red flag with Google like, oh, they just paid a bunch of people to do that. We want those reviews kind of coming in over time. So one this week, maybe a couple next week, one the following week, whatever the case may be. Just don't have an army of folks dropping them in all within an hour or something like that, because algorithm's going to look at that and put up a big question mark. Okay. So you would manage all your stuff here. Drilling in that a little bit, you make sure your name is right, if you don't want to change your name, right? But if you need to change your description, add a little bit to your description, you found some other keywords here, you want to rewrite this, you can do that. It's kind of good to edit that a little bit on occasion. You know, you see this, they're based in Manhattan, New York. It's also good to put service areas into this description because that's part of the result that someone's looking for, right? So manage this, keep it up to date. And you look across the top, you see things like contact, location, hours, more. Click through all that, familiarize yourself with all of that as you go through this, okay? On that more section, and Google, this is kind of something new Google's doing, they're expanding this. If there's certain attributes that you want to share with searchers or people that are looking at your website, you're able to do that now through Google. And you don't have to do this. You can if you like, if you feel like it's important to you and your customers. You can add those and they'll show up on your Google business profile as well. And it's my understanding that they're going to be expanding these to a few other things as well. Okay. Again, from edit profile, and we're going into products. That's that second button that we saw across the top there, right? Well, now we can really start doing some of these things. We can feature products, pictures of the products, a little summary of the products, things like that. We can do posts here, and those will start showing up on your Google business profile, and the algorithm's going to really like this kind of activity. So keep managing this thing. You want to go back and change some of your services, add additional service. I think, like I said, I mentioned that we can go up to 9, I believe is what they allow you to do. But you can change and look for additional ones here to keep that up to date and relevant to your business. Okay. All right. Here's an important stat. Look at that. 90% of customers are more likely to visit a business that has photos on your search page. Visual society. It's easy to do. Everybody's got a phone with a camera on it right now. Try and take an excellent picture, edit it if you need to, and add photos and or videos to your profile. Come back and change those photos, add new photos. This again, we want to have activity happening periodic. You don't have to do it every day here. This is not Facebook or Twitter or anything like that. You know, but maybe once a month, you know, once a week, every other week or something like that. Go in here and tweak this a little bit. Okay. We're writing for our customers and for Google, for the algorithm. Okay. Well, here's your tips, right? Well-focused, well-lit images. You can do before and after. These kind of things. This is where you'd add your logo to, things like that, right? On the promote section of that manage, it's going to be right up top. Click through this and kind of look at things like, well, One thing cool here is this performance thing. It's like a mini Google Analytics. It kind of shows you how many people stumbled across your page. So it's kind of cool to keep up with that. See this button say ask for reviews? There's a link that provides you that you can email to some of your best customers that have been in your shop recently, or whatever the case may be. Email or text or whatever the case, however you want to communicate with them, and say, hey, hey, how about give us a review on Google if you thought our services were great, blah, 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 blah. So there's a way to kind of promote, if you will, getting reviews to your site. Okay, it's a shareable link to ask for a review. And go back to that. You can add offers here. Click through this, familiarize yourself with all of this. There's a lot of tools. It's very useful. Here's an idea of the performance reports. One thing I will caution you is that the spiders and the algorithm, the things that crawl the web looking for changes and things like that, there's a lot of computer programs out there that crawl the web. They're going to show up here too. So not all of these might be customers that are looking, golly, I had 5,000 customers looking for a shoe repair this week, or whatever the case may be. That number is going to be a little bit exaggerated, but what we're looking for is changes in here and things like that. But if people are clicking on to call you, that's going to show up here in another little graph, right? So you'll be able to see some interesting little feedback on how well your profile is doing on the performance reports. Okay. Here's an idea of a post. I said you could do post on this thing. These are ideally short-lived. Okay, and a post kind of have a time frame. It's not going back to where we built the profile. But if we wanted to do something, hey, look, this one says save 10% by showing us a picture of our mascot here, Bruno, just walking the store, showing a picture, and you get 10% off. So you can do little promotions and posts and things like that. If you have something special going on for a weekend or whatever the case may be, you can add it to your profile. Here's an example of a couple. There's the offer that we just looked at, an update or an event. You might have a weekly special or a specific event at your store, book signing or something like that. So you can add that to your profile and do it, because it's just adding activity and relevancy to Google to move you up the relevant results. Okay. Third tab will be customers. This is where you would read and respond to customer reviews. Okay, take a look at the call history. Somebody just clicked on your Google profile to call you directly from that. If you have messages set on, this is where you would review and respond to those. Okay, and answer any questions. Okay, when a customer does review, well, I think we'll get to that, and here it is on the next slide, right? I would recommend, if it's a 5-star review, you go back in there and respond. Say, hey, man, thanks for the great review. We really enjoyed seeing you. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Something to that effect. If for some reason and you get a poor review or something like that, and in any case, no matter how you're responding, be prompt, be very professional, polite. Okay. Don't use your response to do advertising. Again, thank happy customers. And if somebody, and it happens, gives you a bad review, it could be your competitor coming in there, you're trying to pan you or something like that, right? Again, stay professional with this, respond, say, hey, man, that's certainly, this really surprised me. Certainly, not anything we strive to do here. We would like to resolve this privately to protect your privacy. Can we, discuss this privately offline? Please give me a call at the office, ask me specifically, and we'll address this. Okay. As you resolve that, you can, if you do resolve that, ask that person to go back and either remove that or edit that poor response, because it's something that they can do. Okay. But that's not a whole lot. You can't really get Google to remove them unless they violate policy. You can ask them to, but they're pretty strict on that. It does happen though. Okay. think I may have gone over it. Oh, yeah. Do not be using any kind of sensitive information or ask for sensitive information or share sensitive information via any kind of communication through this. Probably self-explanatory, but this is kind of public stuff that's going on here. So we just want to stay away from that kind of stuff. Okay. You got some, everybody probably already knows this, everybody has this little 3-dot thing, and it gives you a little bit more in-depth, quick links to notifications, that kind of stuff. Other little things that you can do. Just explore that a little bit while you're doing this. You got help and support here, a little tutorial that will tell you a little bit more about managing your site as you go through this. Okay. All right, next steps. We're getting towards the end of this thing, and I'll kind of jump in and see if anybody has any questions on this. So again, google.com/business. Okay, kind of a review here, right? Claim and complete your business profile. You'll get your business card. I mean your postcard, which meant postcard within 5 days. In the meantime, you can continue to build that profile and update the information, right? Okay. Again, a recap, make a habit of reviewing and updating your business info. Don't set it and forget it. If you use Facebook to do a lot of things, you're way more active on that than you are going to be on this. But we do want to continually pay attention to this Google Business Profile and use it as part of our virtual storefront, right? Continually add info, photos, share posts. Same kind of thing you would be doing on a social media platform, but keep this up to date. Review your performance reports to see how you're doing there and look at all the tools. Okay. Now, Google has several resources. Obviously, I don't work for Google, so I didn't build this, and I certainly didn't write the algorithm, right? So I guess I can't claim to be a quote expert on all of this, other than provide you with the advice that I've given you so far. But there are ample resources that Google does have available for you, which is no surprise. Outside of this, you can get a marketing kit. The address is below, that you can, kind of print these signs up, and it kind of features Google. Once you're on there, you can put your Google address on there. You can put these up in your physical storefront and things like that. Google actually owns YouTube, which is number 2 in search engine. But so you can simply go to YouTube and you can say, hey, tips for managing my Google Business Profile. And it's going to send you to Grow with Google and places like that, where they'll have short videos and things like that you can learn more about managing that, little tips and things like that for your business. Okay. And if you really want to get into the soup, if you will, with Google, you can do things with Google. You can learn about data analytics. You can become a digital marketer, certified digital marketing, e-commerce expert, all of those things. If that, in some businesses, if you're a marketing person or something like that, getting these certifications might be something that you certainly want to do. Okay. And again, free online training and tools. Most of you guys will be right here for your local businesses. Just kind of a short jump, if you will, to finding some other resources and tools for those. So all available to you via Google, right? So that's about it with the presentation. I'm going to jump over to questions. I see a couple of things jumped into the chat here. There is my contact telephone number and information. My clients that are online here, you have my direct email as well. Another person here in our Florence office is Charles Page. We are in the Florence area, which services the 8 counties. If you're not in those 8 counties of the PD region here, you obviously have a local small business development center. There's 20 centers across the state of South Carolina. So there's someone close to you that's assigned to your county to cover the entire state. So this pull up chat here and see what we're looking at. I'm gonna go back towards the top here and scroll down a little bit and see what I see. Let me enlarge that. Okay. Let's say, Curtis, attempt to put my business name in to get started and it's stating missing or invalid business name. I'm not sure where that happened. It may be that you have to now create that business because it didn't see that business already in Google. Obviously, not all businesses are in Google, and you obviously have a valid business name. There should be a radio button down below that. And if we need to talk offline, we can do that as well. That says add my business, which I think is what you'll want to do if it's not there. Okay. But again, google.com/business is where we want to start this. Let's see. Is there a way to add multiple business locations? There is. Once you get into the particular profile, you can add those locations. A lot of different ways to do it. Once you get the profile set up, I think you'll find those in there. Some businesses set up a different profile for each location. It depends on how the business is structured and the kind of services that you offer. But in a lot of cases, for instance, a Chick-fil-A or somebody like that would be setting up those individually business profiles, okay, and they would manage them individually. So that may be the best route, depending on the nature of your business, okay. That'd be one thing we want to talk about to make it on that. Let's see. Gwendolyn, yes, what I'll do for the attendees here is I'll pop out an email with this slide deck on it so that you can maybe reference these links or whatnot from that. So I'll be happy to send those back out to you. Just look by email. William, I think I would wait till I got my postcard and got registered before I started trying to do any kind of advertising package on there. We want to have your site to be able to be located and found. So you want to validate that and make sure it's live and available to searchers before I think I start spending a lot of money on advertising or things like that. Okay. Let's see here. Yes, Shelley, there is a way to do it. You can select a verification by mobile, and it does work. I've had people run into a problem with it. They did not send it out. What Google really wants to do is make sure that that address is valid, which is the reason that they recommend go ahead and sign it up for the postcard. Okay. We may get into some telephone conversations and chat conversations with Google and say, hey, man, I opted for this thing. I never got the text or whatever the case may be. I mean, you can do it. I'm not going to tell you not to do it. But Google is recommending the postcard route. Okay. Let's see. Okay. And Sonyetta, we're going to make you a new client. Thank you. And I appreciate that. And we'll look forward to hearing from you and speaking with you about your business. Someone else has asked, I did see a chat box, I think down at the bottom. I don't know if you're on a mobile device or whatever the case may be, but on the bottom of your, let's see if I can minimize that. On the bottom of your thing, you should be able to scroll over something that jumps up a chat box or whatever the case may be. Okay. If there are no other questions, it looks like we're a little bit early. I don't know if anyone has any further questions on that. Other than I encourage you all to do get a business profile and do keep it up to date. In my personal opinion, I think it's an important part of your marketing plan and overall marketing mix in today's world. As is a website, social media, it's just part of it. So I encourage you to do that. If you want assistance with it or things like that, you're welcome to give us a call. If your client here, obviously, we'll we'll kind of take a look at it, make our suggestions or recommendations to you on it. Kind of get stuck on something, you can contact us and we'll walk you through it, or whatever the case may be. And so that's kind of what we're here for with Small Business Development Center, is to provide that assistance that will help you grow your business. Let's see here. Did I see any other chats coming up? Let me scroll down there before I send everybody on their way. Thanks for your time. Ask show up live. Yeah, when will the account show up live? Once we verify it, it will be live. If I come in here and get on my computer and type your business name in, it'll take me to your business profile. It may not immediately show up on a organic search result for your product or service until the algorithm starts to come around now and look at your live business profile and start to pick up those things. And then you'll start to steadily increase. Guys, this is not, and I always caution everybody against this all the time too. There's no panacea for people knocking the door down to give you their money as part of your business. Okay, this is just a small part of it. Don't just all of a sudden think, oh yeah, now all of a sudden people are just going to beat a path to my door and our business is just going to explode. This will help, and over time it will begin to help more and more and more. Nothing beats you building the customer relationship, gaining referrals from your existing customers, being active in your local communities, providing an excellent product or service at a good, fair, reasonable price. But the value that you offer is the quality of your service and your relationship with that customer. And that is not built simply by being online. But this is certainly a part of that professional appearance. We'll call it merchandising, packaging, your digital storefront. So this is just a piece of it that in today's world, I think is critical and crucial. And there's simply no reason not to do it, because it doesn't cost you anything until you start spending the money on the ads and things like that. Okay. All right, guys. Again, the survey will be coming to you by email. And so if you can, please respond to that. Again, that just helps us provide more pertinent training, try to improve our training a little bit. Keep warm out there. We've got holidays coming up. I hope you guys will have a great time with your families over the holidays. And again, thank you for being part of our session today. And thank you for being part of what we do here at the Small Business Development Center. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys again in the future. So we'll sign off just a few minutes early here, and you guys have a great day.